Today I'm going to talk about an artist named MC Escher. So MC is short for Maurits Cornelis Escher, and he was a Dutch artist that was born in 1898. So many of you have probably already seen some of his works before. They're really interesting, kind of like optical illusions. So you often hear that people have either a math mind or an art mind. So the classic, are you left-brained or are you right-brained debate. However, I think that many artists use both sides of their brain. So I personally am very interested in math and art. And MC Escher talked to many well-known mathematicians, and he researched something called tessellations. He wanted to know how to draw tessellations, and in order to do that, he needed math. So he used tessellations in many of his works, like I'm going to show you, but he was also very interested in perspective. So here are two examples of some art pieces that he did with perspective. So first is not a self-portrait, but a photo of MC Escher. And in the middle is his work called Relativity. You might have seen this before. You can't really tell what level you're on, which staircase you're going up and which one's going down and so on. It's all over the place, many different planes. And then on the right is his work that's called Hand with Reflecting Sphere. And this also challenges our idea of perspective. Are we the viewer, or are we actually MC Escher in this drawing? So I'm going to kind of share with you what tessellations are. So tessellations, basically you start with a shape. So you can start with a square, or on the right side you can see that we start with a parallelogram with 120 degrees as opposite angles, and the other ones are going to be 60 degrees then. And you basically cut off one side of it, you tape it to the other side, you cut off another side, and you tape it to the other side, and you create the shape that can be iterated. It can be repeated. And so they can be pretty simple, or they can be a little bit more complicated. And so MC Escher was really interested in nature. So a lot of his works have to do with nature. So in the one on the left, we have his work called Two Birds. And on the right, we have Flying Horses. And in this example, we have on the left is called Study of Regular Division of the Plane with Reptiles. So you can see that he's using this math wording in it, right? Regular division of the plane. And he's learning how to rotate these objects in order to kind of repeat it. Now, the thing that I like about the reptiles drawing, or the study of the regular division of the plane with reptiles, is it's actually in a lithograph that he created much later, which is called Reptiles. So on the right side, you can see that drawing is inside of his picture. And again, he's kind of dealing with this idea of perspective, because as you can see, and I'll kind of use my cursor, you can see that his reptile kind of comes alive and starts to crawl all over the work. So super fun. So as I've told you before, on Fridays I like to do a math history lesson. So he's my math history lesson, but I also like to challenge you to create art on your own. So over the weekend, see if you can create either a tessellation or just some kind of optical illusion. So when I was young, I loved optical illusions. I remember doing a science fair project on optical illusions because I found them so fascinating. So these are two really simple optical illusions for you to do. So the first one on the left involves, sectioning off your paper into different regions, and you can draw curves that are, in calculus we use the word concave down versus concave up, but curves that kind of curve in one direction, and then as you enter the other region, they curve in the other direction, and you can use different colors to separate those. Or on the right, we have a picture where we have lines on the page, but we've sectioned it off into different shapes. So we have a hexagon, a semicircle, a circle, and a triangle. And when we draw those lines, we make our shading go differently. So we maybe shade it in a different direction, or if you see in the hexagon, it's almost like it goes from the black line to the white line, right? So we're switching the colors as we enter those spaces. So these are great optical illusions for you to do. All right, good luck. Share in the comments your beautiful creations.